Time right now is 8:30. Good Monday morning. Welcome to the WLBB Community Voice here on News Talk 1330 FM 106.3, streaming live online at newstalk1330.com. My name's Colin Worthington. My guest I'll introduce you to here in just a second. We are on the News Talk 1330 WLBB Facebook page, so you can send any questions or comments during the program there, and I will try to take a look and share them with our guest. Our guest is a lifelong resident of Carroll County. During high school, she attended the Advanced Academy of West Georgia, earning college credits while enrolled at Carrollton High School. After graduating high school in 2007, she obtained her bachelor's degree in accounting in 2008, her master's in public administration in 2010, both from the University of West Georgia. From there, she went to law school at Atlanta's John Marshall Law School, graduated in December of 2012 with her Juris Doctor. She was admitted to practice law in Georgia 2013, licensed mediator in general civil mediation, family domestic, juvenile delinquency, and domestic violence. Received all of her mediation training from the Justice Center of Atlanta. Then in 2016, she was appointed as the county conservator for Carroll County. Most of her litigation work right now is devoted to family law, and she wants to be your next chief magistrate for Carroll County. Kierston Phillips, good morning.
Good morning. How are you doing?
I'm great, and great to finally meet you and have you on the program and talk about your campaign.
Yeah.
We've obviously seen you and heard from you from the last year at least when you announced your candidacy for this race, and it was pert near 1 year ago. And I can see billboards and advertisements all over the place. So you're really interested in the seat.
Yeah.
And we will note Nathaniel Smith is current chief magistrate. He was appointed, and I want to say it was January.
So I believe that the position, I believe he was appointed in March, but I think it may have been May before he actually took the office. So, but yeah, it's been about almost a year that he's been there.
So, but you've made it clear from the start. I mean, at the point he was appointed, that hey, I would love to be the chief magistrate.
Yeah, actually, before he was appointed, and I've been working on it even before that was announced. And so, because I was an assistant judge appointed by Al Johnson, who was our then chief magistrate court judge. I've been an assistant magistrate since March 1st of 2016, so I've been there now for a little over 8 years, and I really love magistrate court. It's really the people's court. You've got people that show up. They show up without attorneys, and they represent themselves, and it's just a great court to be in, and it's a great area to be helpful to the community. Magistrate court, in many ways, I mean, we may not get that much attention. I mean, I think if you pick up a newspaper, you primarily see Superior Court judges, if there's something in the news about that. We're kind of in the background, and that's what I like. That's my speed.
When you mentioned magistrate court, I do think of Judge Wapner. I mean, for those who were alive in the 80s, I mean, I don't think you were, but think of it, Judge Wapner.
I barely made it. I was born in 89.
89.
So I wasn't remembering a lot at that point, though.
Fair enough. Did you ever go fishing with Judge Alton?
Yes.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, and that's what I remember. He was a big fisherman. Always invite me out to breakfast. Never went with him, but always not on purpose. It wasn't a reason, but and to go fishing.
No, he's a great person. So.
Well, again, as I said, you announced your candidacy. It was about a year ago. You have a website, and remind me what that is.
VoteKierstonPhillips.com.
And I'll try and focus on this segment on what you've talked about on your website before digging into other things. The magistrate, you did kind of allude that doesn't get the attention that other courts might get. What do you see as the primary role for magistrate judge for magistrate courts?
So magistrate court, I mean, we do a lot of different things. We do the civil court, anything under $15,000, people can sue for money purposes there for civil. We do county ordinance. There's also garnishments. There's landlord-tenant. We do private warrant applications where private citizens can go. If law enforcement does not take a warrant on someone for whatever reason, private citizens can go and file for a warrant to be issued, and you have basically a probable cause hearing. A lot of what we do, I feel like, for me, 90% of what I do, basically I sign warrants for the police, arrest warrants, search warrants, and then also first appearance hearings. So that's, to me, that's the bulk of what we do. But I mean, obviously you do the civil aspect too, but I guess the stuff that would get the most attention, that would make newspapers, would be like bonds and things of that nature. So.
You mentioned bond. What would be a situation that, I don't want to say it falls into the hands of magistrate, but I mean, like if a bond, I mean, why would a bond for a crime, for a criminal offense, fall into the hands of magistrate and not be handled by a superior court judge? Is it just...
Okay, so we have first appearance hearings, and the purpose of that hearing is to advise people who are arrested, to advise them of what they've been charged with, where we read them their warrants and make sure they understand why they've been arrested, basically why they're sitting in jail, to go over the rights that they have in a criminal case, and to, I guess, determine about setting a bond at that point. So, yeah.
All right, Kierston Phillips, our guest on this morning's Community Voice program, candidate for Carroll County Magistrate, Chief Magistrate. Clear choice to keep us safe. Why are you the clear choice to keep us safe? What does that mean, keeping us safe as the Chief Magistrate?
Well, so, I mean, I've been there for 8 years, and I feel like I feel like I've settled, maybe perhaps in I guess I feel comfortable at this point because of my experience in setting bonds. Whenever I'm setting a bond, when I go to first appearance and I get the file and I'm looking through the file, I read the warrants. And a lot of times that's while the officers are bringing the defendants in for their hearing, I'm already going through the paperwork. So I'm reading the warrants, I'm looking at their criminal histories. And so I kind of have a range, I guess, a spectrum of what the crimes are as to like the degree of seriousness, as to what's, I wouldn't say petty, because obviously all crimes are, it's a crime. But then it goes up from there. You have misdemeanor weed possession all the way up to, murder or something of that nature. So I'm always thinking about, well, what's the seriousness of this crime? And then I look at the defendant's criminal history. I guess I could use it as an example. It may have been a couple weeks ago now. I had 2 kids who they just turned 18. They were charged with residential burglary. And in my mind, and I'm not perfect, I'm not saying that my opinion is what is the standard by any means, but just in my mind, a residential burglary, to me, that's serious because it could develop quickly into a home.
It's a crime against a person, too.
Well, and that's exactly right. I mean, I was going to go into that. Is it could be a home invasion. I mean, you don't know if somebody's home or not, but you're willing to go into someone's house, and you don't know if they're home. I mean, it could end up in, maybe they shoot you because you're coming in. You could be hurt, So it's very serious to me. A residential burglary is very serious, and I'm not saying that a commercial burglary is not serious, because it is. But to me, when you're coming into someone's home, that's serious. So these 2, they were charged with a residential burglary, and I believe they were also charged with commercial burglary as well. But the residential portion was the main thing that I looked at. But these 2, obviously they're 18. They have no criminal history. So in my mind, I knew that they should get a bond, and I knew that I didn't want to completely do just an incredibly high bond, because they were 18. Obviously, they don't have significant means to go and pay for a bond, but I also wanted to make sure that they're not a threat to the community, and that possibly there's things put in place to where they would not reoffend immediately or ever at that point while they're out on bond, so that they're not a danger to the community. One of them actually lived in Paulding County, and then the other one lived here in Carroll, and so with the one there's various conditions that you can put on bond, like, for example, that you're not to return to the property that you're charged with burglarizing, so you're not to go back there. There's no reason to be on there. I did put the Talatrix monitoring on both of them, basically ankle bracelet, yeah, just to know where they're at all times, so that we can confirm that they're not going back to that location. And then also for the one that lived in Paulding County, I confirmed that there was nothing in Carroll County that she needed to be here for. Now, she did attend the college here, so she needed to go to school, but I put on there that she'd have a curfew, and also that he would have a curfew, and that way that they're at home during certain hours. But then also, as far as banishment for the one that was from Paulding County, so that she would only come to Carroll County if she were going to school, if she were meeting with her attorney, or for court purposes. So to try to help our citizens and to keep us, protected.
Did that happen up on 113?
I believe so,
okay,
possibly.
Yeah, okay,
So,
and I don't believe somebody wasn't. It was an elderly man, and somebody was not. He wasn't even in his home at the point at that time. But why wouldn't we use ankle bracelets for any kind of crime that was, really offending somebody or potentially, to stop somebody from doing it. I mean, what's the deterrent from using that? Is it just costly?
Well, I mean, to me, because I suppose you wouldn't use it, I suppose, in every situation.
Like shoplifting.
Right, for shoplifting. I mean, because there is a charge to that. The defendant has to pay. I mean, I'm not really sure how much they pay a month. I want to say maybe $200 a month. And so that's an expense that they have to come in. So it's a balancing act of making sure that the person charged and accused of a crime, they got to pay for a bond. So you don't want to put an undue burden on them in that. And then also with the tallow trick. So for something like a shoplifting, that is not something that in my mind, and again, I'm not perfect, I'm not the standard, but in my mind, I wouldn't say it is to the level of putting an ankle monitoring on for shoplifting. But something like a residential burglary where, I mean, if my home were burglarized, I would be very
You'd be a little paranoid it would happen again.
Yeah, and I would be very afraid that someone would be coming back, and so that's why I wanted an ankle monitor in that situation, just to say that we had some reassurance as to where this person, making sure they did not go back to the property.
Well, it's not going to be 100% reassurance as compared to, I guess, revoking bond, but how close is it? I mean, how using an ankle monitor, how much security should that give somebody, a victim?
Well, I mean, to me, it verifies that they're there, but I think you are correct in that. I suppose it would not completely. It depends on the person wearing it as to how much they. If they're not going to abide by it, they're not going to abide by it, and they're going to go back. And there's nothing I can do on that. But it's some sort of reassurance, because most people, if they violate that, for example, if they violated the terms of their bond and went back to the location where they've clearly been told don't go back there, and hey, we can confirm as to whether or not you've gone back there, you may get your bond revoked. And I think I have that reputation of, like, if someone is arrested on new charges while they're out on bond, I mean, I do not set a bond for the most part. Now, obviously, if their new charge is a misdemeanor, then you're required to set a bond for that. But if they get rearrested on a felony while they're out on bond on something else, I'm not setting a bond. You can file a motion with a Superior Court judge, or a Superior Court judge. I was going to say with a state court judge, but if you state court judge, that would be you were charged with a misdemeanor, so I would be setting you a bond anyway. Mm-hmm. But if you're charged with a new felony while you're out on bond, I'm not inclined to set another bond. If you can't abide by the terms of the first bond we set, then I have no reassurance to believe that you'll abide by the second one we set.
Time right now is 8:42. Before we do take our first break, you do have a business. You do operate a business.
Correct. Yes.
An office. And one of the things on your website is remain accessible. How can you be accessible and maintain your other business? How do you do that?
So for 8 years, I've been an assistant magistrate, and so law enforcement, they come and go. I'm very easy to find. So I had, in the early years, I had an office on Noonan Road, just down the road from here. So it's between the jail and the courthouse, and also close to Carrollton Police Department, and then moved to Dixie Street. So I'm just across the street from the courthouse now, and but I'm still kind of central between the sheriff's office and the city police department, and I guess I'm one of those rare people that I'm always around. I feel like, and in Carroll County, I mean, I do vacation, but it's maybe like once, maybe twice a year.
Vacation at the zip line place,
right? Yeah, go there and there. But so I'm pretty much always around, and I mean, if someone sends me a text or if they call, I always try to get back to them. And people, the good news is they come wherever I'm at, and I feel like I have always been accessible to law enforcement on needing their warrant signed, and I always tried to be helpful. And so
Kierston Phillips is a candidate for Chief Magistrate for Carroll County. She's our guest on this morning's Community Voice program. Time right now is 8:43. Any questions or comments, please post those to the News Talk 1330 WLBB Facebook page, or as I say, you are stuck with whatever I make up on this morning's program. We'll be back in 1 minute. Community Voice brought to you by Tanner Health System and Oak Mountain Academy.
Health is a journey. It's making better choices, even when it's not easy. It's taking care of yourself and the people you love. At Tanner Health System, we're there for you with every step, with primary care, heart care, cancer care, women's care, orthopedics, surgical services, and so much more. We're dedicated to helping you live and feel your best. So let's get on that journey to health. You've got places to be for many years to come. Find us at tanner.org.
The World Language Scholar Journey at Oak Mountain Academy is designed to provide students with a clearly defined, curriculum-based track to acquire essential knowledge and skills for success in biliteracy fields of study. The successful completion of this journey provides colleges with a method to recognize a rigorous foreign language immersion experience for all students at Oak Mountain Academy. I'm Patrick Duran, head of school, inviting you to journey with us on the mountain. For more information, visit us at oakmountain.us. Discover your journey at OMA. Prepare, explore, and achieve.
845, welcome back to the WLBB Community Voice, News Talk 1330 FM 106.3. My name's Colin Worthington. My guest this morning, Kierston Phillips. She is running for Chief Magistrate for Carroll County. And questions and comments, again, post them to the News Talk 1330 WLBB Facebook page. If I miss them here in this segment, or if you do post them in this segment, the last time I'll get to look at them will probably be about 8:50, 8:52. So if you want to get something on the air, please post that during this segment. Again, going back to your website, as far as your commitment to Carroll County, uphold Carroll County values. What are Carroll County values? Are they different than any place else?
Well, I think in talking to people, going out and with campaigning and just meeting with people and finding out what's important to people, I think that Carroll County we do place an emphasis on being safe, and I think that again that ties back into the bonds and everything. So yeah.
Just because this popped into my head here, that we're waiting for the governor to appoint a district attorney for the new West Georgia district for judicial district, because we have two counties. It'll be Carroll County and Heard County, and again, it'll be appointment from the governor. Even though we have plenty of time to have an election, but there will be an appointment. Did you submit your name to that, or do you have any interest in being a district attorney?
No, well, so it's funny you mentioned that. At one point in time in my life, yeah, I very much, yes, I would have wanted to be the district attorney, but I think that now I enjoy what I do now so much, and I have the way in what I do to help people. I don't really want to leave that behind at this point, and so I'm happy doing that. I think that there would be a lot of pressures on being a district attorney. I think that and I'm not saying that magistrate court there's not so many pressures, but again, we're kind of in the background. We're there at 3:00 in the morning when a murder happens, signing a search warrant or arrest warrant, kind of in the background, not seeing a whole lot, and I like that. I like being in the background, and I think being a district attorney, you would be at the forefront with a lot of pressure on you, and I'm happy in my role. So
the current chief magistrate, Nathaniel Smith, he made an implementation that he announced maybe in the last month as far as e-warrants. It kind of feels like we were lacking in that. It seems like, to me, it felt like we must have been far behind a lot of other courts at that point to implement e-warrants, because it seems like it's going to save a lot of time and money and manpower.
Yeah. So I think that was a good thing, and I'm hoping that sometime soon the e-filing for civil stuff will come about too for magistrate court, because other location, with Superior Court and State Court, we have what's called Peach Court, where people can file their stuff online, and I'm hoping that we get the e-filing started for magistrate court for civil things as well.
Is that something that you would like to implement, and what was that process?
Well, I certainly would, but I have no doubt that if I did lose the election, I have no doubt that Judge Smith would do that too, because he's interested in the e-warrants, so obviously it would naturally follow that the civil stuff. So just getting time to get that implemented. So yeah.
Are there any other implementations or additions to the court that you see, whether you can do it in 2 to 4 years or anything like that? Some things that this court is lacking, maybe not to do with Chief Smith at this point, but anything that our court system.
Yes, certainly, definitely want to be upfront about that. Judge Smith has probably not really had enough time to get in and do the various things. It takes a long time to get change done, and if I did win, I would not be able to come in and just overnight implement a bunch of things that need to be done. So that definitely need to, I think, some modernization of the court. Definitely the e-filing. I think that maybe I noticed that we don't really have a website just for magistrate court. I think that we've got one that's with the county, Carroll County government, and it gives some information there.
And I'll say it's difficult for me to get information that I need based on that. I do have to find the chief magistrate to get that information, and it doesn't always happen like quick. So yeah, it'd be nicer to have easily accessible information for the magistrate court.
Yeah. So, but other counties, I think we're comparable to Paulding County. If you look at Paulding County's website, they have the different types of, like whether it's landlord, tenant, whether it's civil, abandonment for vehicles, and then the forms division, so people can go online and get their forms and fill it out. And that's something I would like to see. Yeah.
Well, even as far as setting the bail, should those be available on the magistrate website?
What do you mean?
If you're setting bond for somebody at magistrate's office, if they set a bond for somebody who
perhaps giving an update as to like this is this person,
because people do. I mean, they reach out all the time and say, "Hey, did this person get bond? Do you know why?"
Right. So I don't think that would be unreasonable. Yeah.
All right. Time right now is 8:50. We will take our last break and hopefully give people a chance to post any comments or questions and share those. But talk about your campaign. I mean, again, it's about part near a year that you've been doing this, and I mean, I've seen you at parades, see billboards. You're going door to door.
Yes.
What are you hearing from people? I mean, about the magistrate judge. Do you have to explain that to them?
A lot of times people, again, I guess because we're in the background so much, I guess people don't really are not as familiar with what all we do. So I definitely try to run through and make sure they understand what it is that I'm running for and what all goes into magistrate court. And I always try to give my background, that I've worked there for a very long time and that I enjoy magistrate court and that I've always lived in Carroll County. And I also try to explain the situation to them as far as the history of magistrate court, because, with Judge Johnson, when he passed away in March of 22, just the various appointments that have happened, because I know that so many people, a lot of times, because they don't know, they ask, well, who are you running against? And I'm like, well, okay, so let me explain. Judge Johnson passed away. Then Michael Hubbard was appointed as the chief magistrate court judge. And then when Erica Tysinger moved from state court to Superior Court, then Michael Hubbard moved to state court. And so then that created a vacancy last year, and so then Nathaniel Smith was appointed to fill that vacancy, and so that's who I'll be running against. And I always tell people, we both have Facebook pages, we both have websites, so please go and research both of us and vote for whoever you identify with the most and feel compelled to support. So, and I always tell people I would certainly appreciate and value your support. So but it'll be interesting to see. So, and I started so early because I know that it's a lot to run against someone who's been appointed. I guess I have a higher burden, so I know some people have probably wondered, why did you come out so early and start, a year ago? Well, it's a lot of work. It's, so.
And it says how long you've thought about it. Kierston Phillips, our guest on this morning's Community Voice program. Time right now is 8:52. Before we do take our final break, I do want to remind you about all the dates that are coming up. Last day to be able to register to vote for the election is April 22nd, so that's 1 week from today. That's the last day if you want to vote in the this coming election. Last day to request an absentee ballot for the primary is May 10th. Mail-in absentee ballots must be received by 7 o'clock on Election Day, May 21st. Please consider what's going on with the post offices right now. Early voting schedule at the Elections Office, 997 Noonan Road, begins on April the 29th, goes through the May 3rd, just the first week. It's Monday through Friday, 8:30 a.m. till 5, and then May the 4th, 9 a.m. till 5. That's Saturday. The following week is May 6th through 10th, 8:30 till 5, Monday through Friday. You also get a Saturday that week from 9 till 5. And then May the 13th through 17th, you'll go 8:30 till 5 at the Elections Office and Powell Park in Villa Rica, 524 Leslie Drive. That's Monday through Friday. And then that Saturday, no early voting, and Election Day is May 21st. Come back with about 5 minutes. Community Voice brought to you by Tanner Health System and Oak Mountain Academy.
Health is a journey. It's making better choices, even when it's not easy. It's taking care of yourself and the people you love. At Tanner Health System, we're there for you with every step, with primary care, heart care, cancer care, women's care, orthopedics, surgical services, and so much more. We're dedicated to helping you live and feel your best. So let's get on that journey to health. You've got places to be for many years to come. Find us at tanner.org.
The Entrepreneur Scholar Journey at Oak Mountain Academy is designed to provide students with a clearly defined curriculum-based track to acquire essential knowledge and skills for success in business and leadership. Critical areas include identifying entrepreneurial characteristics, selecting a value position, and business model development. I'm Patrick Uran, head of school, inviting you to journey with us on the mountain. For more information, visit us at oakmountain.us. Discover your journey at OMA. Prepare, explore, and achieve.
right, 8:54. Welcome back to the Community Voice program, News Talk 1330 FM 106.3. We're on the News Talk 1330 WLBB Facebook page. This morning, my guest is Kierston Phillips. She is running for Chief Magistrate of Carroll County. Again, early voting starts April the 29th. If you missed any of this program, it'll be available on the newstalk1330.com website and the News Talk 1330 WLBB Facebook page forever. It'll be up there forever. It never goes down. But we're going to wrap up our program right now. I've got about 5 minutes left with a candidate, Kierston Phillips, again, Carroll County Chief Magistrate Judge. Talked about your campaign, what you've gone through, the advertising. How important is this to you? I don't know if I mentioned this before the show or after the show. I don't remember I've talked to you about it. I frequently will ask people, when you're running for this and you're challenging an incumbent, you must see something wrong there that you can do better. But I do get the vibe from you that this is like, this is business. This is what I want to do. This is what I want to do to fulfill my career. I want to be part of this.
Yes, and going door to door, a lot of people have asked that very question of, when you're challenging an incumbent, and what do you think you can bring that would be different? And I always tell people that, I am not running against Nathaniel Smith at all. I consider him a friend, actually, and I'm not running against him. I'm running for the position. And I've been in magistrate court as an assistant judge since 2016, but even before that, I interned in high school with Judge Johnson. My family's known Judge Johnson for many years, and so I go way back with magistrate court. And I've done everything from I guess that as an intern, you're making copies and putting stickers like little number, the grunt, doing that all the way up to adjudicating cases as a judge. And I enjoy magistrate court, and that's why I'm running. I always thought, I guess I just, I worked hard for so many years to be in the position of Chief Magistrate Court Judge. And so I know that if I don't run for it now, it may never happen. And so that's why I'm running at this point. So what else can we see on the campaign trail from you over the next couple of weeks? Do you have meetings planned? Do you have any open house events or anything like that? Well, so the Cattle Association actually invited me to come Thursday. I think it starts at 7 o'clock. I'll get there a little bit early, probably around 6:30. But they have invited me to do a presentation on, actually they asked if I would present on estate planning. So I plan to go do that. So not too much on magistrate court, but I'll definitely, let people know, hey, I'm also running for magistrate court, and try to meet people there. But I've throughout the year, I've taken part in, various parades. I don't think there's any more parades before the election. But I do think that, Mayfest is coming up. I hope to be there. But then my emphasis really has been to focus on knocking on doors. And I'll tell you, talking to other candidates, and actually in District 5, I've ran into a few candidates out doing the same thing.
Well, there's 35 of them running.
Yeah,
so you're going to bump into them.
So I've ran into them knocking on doors, and I think that's probably been, people really, when I first started knocking on doors, I'm thinking, I'm going to make people mad. They don't want to answer the door. Their dogs are going to go crazy, because if you come to my door, my dogs just go crazy. So I'm thinking I'm just going to make people mad. But I have been so surprised, and so it's been a learning experience for me, and it's been so good because you see all the wonderful, nice people in Carroll County where they welcome you in, and they're interested. They're really interested in what goes on at their government, small local government, and it's just been really good. And so I really want to make sure that most of my efforts go to knocking on doors, because I want to meet as many people as I can, because I think that's what's important.
We have 1 minute, and I'm putting you on the spot with this one. What difference can a magistrate judge make? As far as one compared to the other, and not to necessarily compare you and Nathan, but what difference can a magistrate judge make as far as the day-to-day duties?
Well, I think that, and I'll use this as an example, and I go back to bonds and everything. Everything that we do can be appealed to a higher level. So we're by far not the end of the road. So at bonds, if you deny someone's bond, I always tell someone that if for whatever reason I denied somebody's bond, I'm like, but you can file a motion for bond in Superior Court, or if I set you a bond that's too high, you can certainly file to modify your bond, because I'm not the end of the road. I'm just the first step. And I think that for magistrate court, yes, you can appeal, but it is important that you get a fair decision at that first level, because it takes time to appeal. And certainly, like, I was thinking of a lot of times there's people who show up for a bond, and right now with the economy, it's hard for people to afford bonds sometimes, and so you certainly you have to take that into consideration and try to be fair so that they can get it. So,
all right, Kierston Phillips, candidate for Chief Magistrate, Carroll County. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned for top of the hour news.